A Tribute to Conrad, Jules, Adrian, Aska by Asot Michael. Presently, I'm in Rochester, Minnesota at the Mayo Clinic with my dear mother, who was hospitalized for serious heart condition in intensive care unit. I had to fly her back here on the air ambulance 2 days ago. Otherwise, I'll be present in this church this afternoon to deliver this tribute in person. No more that burly gait, no more that joyous face, no more that resonant voice, no more on this earth, my brother. Yet in my heart he's here, in my bones and in my marrow, Jules lives on. In my memory, in my every conscious moment, he stands beside me as he always did, my brother, and my friend, my true friend. The chain of love he forged has not been broken by his untimely death, nor has it been in the least bit weakened. If anything, the chain has grown stronger, reaching beyond this mortal life to that better place where Jules must be, laughing and happy in the company of the Almighty. I do not pretend that I do not feel anger at his loss. I do not pretend that my heart is not bursting with the grief of his passing. I do not pretend that I do not question why. I do all these things, and I cry inside as I weep outside. For Jules did not deserve to die so young and so sudden. Good afternoon, church. Today we have gathered to bid farewell to my dear friend and brother Conrad, Jules, Adrian, Aska, whom I love dearly and whose love for all in his family is legendary. He was kind and generous, calm and caring, unflappable and unpretentious. He possessed the generosity of a saint and the firm hand of a Mother Teresa. God has blessed us by sending him to be a guardian and a peacemaker, and we thank the Almighty for his everlasting goodness. Conrad, Jules, Adrian, Aska, fondly known to family and close friends as Jules, was born on the 2nd of October 1974, the first of 3 children of Carmela Aska, deceased, and Conrad Aska, the loving, protective elder brother of Alicia and Elliot Aska, was an exemplary family man. He loved his parents. He adored his daughter Kyla Zoe Aska. Their father-daughter bond was as strong as it was inspiring and exemplary. And he was particularly fond of his niece Kaya, as a measure of his devotion of piloting family interest to peace, prosperity and progress. Both daughter and niece flew high on the wings of his love. The joy of his life anchored the well-being of his family. He was a wonderful human being blessed with a caring heart, a thoughtful mind, mordant wit, and a talent for elegant conversation. At family gatherings he danced, he sang, he played stand-up comedian. He held them in awe or threw them into stitches of laughter. But he was also a serious man, whose resourcefulness and reliability rejoiced in planning and thinking ahead. Family members all testify that they could depend on Jules to be there whenever they needed him. He was selfless, considerate, empathetic to a fault, kind and generous. He loved his family dearly and never failed to visit them regularly at residences in different parts of the world. I empathize with his siblings, saddened by the fact that family birthdays, vacation and holidays such as Thanksgiving or Christmas will never be the same. My friend was loved by all, and his death leaves great sadness in our hearts. Jules was one of the courageous young Antiguan patriots of his generation, who led the charge against overwhelming odds to use higher education in the battle to beat the poverty trap. He came from humble beginnings, very humble, in the community of Cedar Grove right here. And after passing the common entrance exams at primary school there, he moved on to the Antigua Grammar School and later to St. Joseph's Academy, where he graduated. But Jules was very determined. He always knew he wanted to be a pilot, and with the sacrifice of his parents, he made it to flight school in Miami, where he obtained a degree in aviation management and a commercial pilot's license. I remember those days. Our families were close, extremely close. We grew up with fathers, my late father Patrick Michael and Conrad Jules Sr., who is here, who were deeply involved in the work of the Antigua Labour Party and the Antigua Trades and Labour Union, and motivated to help with realizing the development agenda of the late V.C. Byrd Sr. But it was in Miami while I attended Barry University that our friendship really flowered. It flourished. It was nurtured, and we developed a bond, a strong bond of love and friendship that could not be broken. My sister Soraya and I spent a lot of time with him hanging out, understanding America, talking about a better Antigua, and enjoying the great food he loved to cook for us. He spent many weekends at our apartment in Miami. I admired him as a high achiever with a delightful sense of humor that it made him great fun to be around. He played and partied hard, but he studied even harder. He never lost sight of the financial burden undertaken by his parents, the sacrifice they made to enable him to realize his dream, and he remained totally focused on ensuring that his success would bring them pride and joy. He flew for a number of airlines regionally and internationally. With his deep passion for aviation, he truly enjoyed the friendly skies and the various parts of the world his job allowed him to visit. He often spoke of the luxury privileges of aviation employment, like spending time in exotic places, trying new foods, and having frequent time off to spend with friends and family. Jules, the self-proclaimed handsome ladies' man, lover of sports, and consummate community activist, committed to the betterment of Cedar Grove and Antigua and Barbuda, has completed his earthly flight. He served faithfully. He served well. Now he soars on the eternal wings to rest in perfect peace. And so, we must take his death as a sign and symbol that we do not know the hour of our final parting. It may be sudden. It may be long. It may be now. It may be later. But whatever and whenever, we must know that those who will sum up our lives can confidently say that we worked with the sweat of our brow and with the brow of our brains to change the world. That for sure and in sum was as true of Conrad, Jules, Adrian, Aska, as it is true of all truly remarkable citizens. Throughout the changing scenes of the life of Conrad, Jules, Adrian, Aska, in trouble and in joy, his enduring commitment to righteous, joyful living shone bright like a diamond in the noble aspiration to a higher purpose. And as my dear friend soars above the wooden ships and ships that sail the sea, let us remember in the words of George W. Bush, and I quote, that the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. End of quote. And as the great poet and philosopher wrote, and I quote, the reality of life is life itself, whose beginning is not in the womb, and whose ending is not in the grave. For the years that pass are naught but a moment in eternal life, and the world of matter and all in it is but a dream compared to the awakening, which we call the terror of death. The soul is an embryo in the body of man, and the day of death is the day of awakening. For it is the great era of labor and the rich hour of creation. Death is an ending to the sun of the earth, but to the soul it is the start, the triumph of life. If in the twilight of memory we should meet once more, we shall speak again together, and you shall sing to me a deeper song. And if our hands should meet in another dream, we shall build another tower in the sky. Goodbye, my brother Jules. Goodbye, my friend. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. Amen. Thank you.